For the first time in American Athletic Conference history, we are preparing to crown a champion in women's lacrosse as the Florida Gators and Cincinnati Bearcats meet for a title from the University of Cincinnati. Home field advantage for the Bearcats, even though they're the 2 seed. They lost at Florida last Saturday. Let's take a look at how we got here with the semifinals having been played on Thursday. Florida, a terrific effort on both ends of the field. Defensively, they did more than enough, and they gave both Lindsey Ronbeck and Sydney Parecka really good opportunities to score. Parecka shined her best game of the season, and certainly Ronbeck is capable of thrashing any opponent. On the Cincinnati side, a great win for them. They beat Temple for the second time this year, largely because of Durso in the cage and a fabulous game from Adams. She had 4 first-half goals, one of the best games of her career, and the Bearcats are coming to the championship game for the first time in program history. So here's our bracket. You got all 4 teams, Florida having beaten Vanderbilt 19-10, Cincinnati over Temple 13-9, and now we're set for the title bout. And with that, we say good afternoon. Alongside Mike Walensky, I'm Brendan Gulick. Rich Heide will join us shortly down on the sideline. Mike, a game today between 2 teams that are hungry to play each other again after having just seen each other last week.
Boy, they are really hungry because the winner comes home with the hardware. It's an American championship, and it'll be a very competitive battle, but Florida has been sensational all season long. They have an RPI at 10. Cincinnati is the RPI at 53. You have to believe that the home field advantage will give Cincinnati a chance to maybe even this match.
Well, Florida certainly is the favorite going into this game, even though they're essentially playing a road game this afternoon. Let's take a look at our keys to the game. First for the Bearcats, it all starts with the draw.
Boy, in the first matchup, Florida absolutely dominated the draw control. Cincinnati has to get the job done today. Sam Milkva will be called upon to do that. They have to attack offensively. They've got to get more shots than they produced in that 25-6 loss in Gainesville, and they must be aggressive defensively. They must make a statement early on in this match.
Well, they know Florida can score. Florida, a team that relentlessly can defend as well.
Oh, they are really relentless defensively. They really tied down Coach Hewitt's Vanderbilt squad in that 19-10 win the other day. And they've got to make it hot. They've got to move the ball around. When they do that, Lindsey Ronbeck and Parecka together, team together, are fantastic. They get off to a fast start. They're a very difficult team. I think Kavanaugh is the player that they have to rely on most from the draw control standpoint to get them going on the fast start. They do that. The Gators are a really tough team.
Alyssa Adams stole the show with her 4 first-half goals last time around, but if the Bearcats are going to win, they've got to have Monica Borzillo play at a high level.
Yeah, Borzillo's scored over 100 points this year. It's been absolutely sensational. She's a fantastic player, and she carried them offensively on her back in that big win over Temple.
On the other side of things, you're talking about a Florida team that has so many weapons. Sydney Parecka had 11 points on Thursday, 5 goals, 6 assists. Somebody's got to stop her.
They do have to stop her, whether they double team her or do something to make that statement early on in the match. But she was phenomenal. Parecka was very good, number 44, not only scoring but also distributing the ball as well.
Florida looking for its 6th straight conference tournament championship. Cincinnati has never been this far. Can they overcome last week's tough loss and win their first conference crown? Find out next. Opening draw coming up on the American Digital Network.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable.
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
How do you drive impact for 200 years? By doing it boldly. By building a bridge, breaking a barrier, planting a flag, owning a stage. Because here, we learn by doing and believe the status quo was built to be broken. So be proud, be bold, be Cincinnati. We're 2 centuries in, and we're still creating what's next. We are boldly Bearcat.
Getting ready for opening draw here this afternoon after the Bearcats have been introduced, and the Florida Gators are making their way onto the field as we speak. In the meantime, let's check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, Rich Heide. Rich? Well, the Florida Gators made their way out onto the field here. Sydney Parecka, you get a good look at her there. How about the 11 points she had the other day? My goodness, just a fabulous semifinal. Easily the best game of her season and arguably one of the best games of her career. Head coach Mandy O'Leary told us after the game that especially with the way Parecka had played, she wants the ball in her stick almost at all times.
She sets a great tone for the Gators, and one of the unique stats coming into this match is that Florida, in terms of goals per period, 156/99 against the opponents, let alone Florida in their losses have had slow starts. So when they play against teams that are not ranked in the top 10, they're really tough to beat. Cincinnati will really have to come up with a lot of firepower. On the flip side, goals per period, Cincinnati in the first 144-102. Cincinnati's going to have to be better than they were last week.
Well, this Bearcat team actually had a 3-2 lead against Florida last Saturday. But as it turns out, things went south quickly for the Bearcats. Hopefully today will be a little bit more competitive. It was not the way the Bearcats had drawn it up last Saturday. 25-6 the final. It was 3-2 Cincinnati, and then 19 of the next 20 goals were scored by the Gators, and that was that.
And the other thing about the Gators is the fact that they've been really good on the road. They're 7-2, and of course the big neutral win here in the semi over Vanderbilt to get to the championship. They're an outstanding club, well balanced throughout. Defensively, one player that hasn't been mentioned, I think, that played very well in the semifinal was Maddie Hall. Maddie Hall played very well for Coach O'Leary's club, and she will be counted on heavily in this one too to defend against the Cincinnati club.
Look at the Cincinnati starting lineup. Obviously, Borzillo and Milkvie are very capable on the offensive end. Juliana Durso, what a game she had the other night. All three Fest sisters starting in the back line there. There's a good look at Durso. She was called upon in a big way and really stepped up big. And oh, by the way, Haley Hicklin, not too shabby either. She was named the conference goalkeeper of the year.
Yeah, Haley Hicklin has been on fire as a goalkeeper for the Gators. She's been exceptional. But again, Shannon Cavanaugh right now in that draw control area with Sam Milkvie. She will be very key for the Florida Gators in tonight's championship match.
Florida's been in the NCAA tournament each of the last 8 years in a row. And a win today would give either one of these teams the AQ for the first time ever. The inaugural playing of the American Athletic Conference Women's Lacrosse Championship underway here in Cincinnati. Bearcats win the draw control. Cincinnati in red, Florida in white. By the way, our officials, Jessica Seamate, Chris Niblock, Randy Booth, and Jen Whalen.
Right off the bat, Borzillo got her stick on the ball, did a good job keeping it alive for Amanda Donovan picking up the ground ball. The Bearcats in a good place right now.
Florida ranked 18th in the country, largely because of their close results against some of the top teams in the nation, many of them whom they haven't beaten, but they were within 1 or 2 goals against lots of the top 5 teams in the nation. Nice turnover cause. Florida does that pretty often. Cara Trombetta, one of the top defenders in the league, flings it across the field, and a good effort keeping it in play over there by Eldave. Gators make a mistake, sends it the other way.
And they don't make too many mistakes. Trombetta, not much of a scorer, but a great defender. Did a great job with that turnover there for the Gators. And Cincinnati is in a good place right now, once again, to set the tempo in this match.
Fairly cool afternoon. Pretty breezy, to be quite honest with you. The wind is blowing from left to right and a little from the bottom to the top of your screen. Although the way the field sits down, they may not feel it so much on the field as the fans might feel it in the stands. Temperature 58 degrees, very cloudy skies, and we're expecting some rain later on, but it may not come during our game. Certainly no thunderstorms, so we should be playable all the way through.
Yeah, this should be a great atmosphere here today for this championship match. Noss, number 6, the freshman, she's been very good all season long for Coach Thomas's team.
Conference Freshman of the Year, using her strength to muscle inside. She shoots wide, but the flag comes out. And she'll have a free position.
Caitlin Dabkowski picks up the personal there, and she was all over Noss. Again, showing her strength. The young freshman can go with either hand here.
Certainly like the way Noss played in that first semifinal. Finished with 1 goal, but a physical player. She shoots early and bounces one inside the bottom right corner. It's the Bearcats at home and out front.
Went for the far post. And Cincinnati on top with the freshman Kylie Noss. Her 40th goal of the season. Just slipped it right by Haley Hicklin.
Not by much, but able to bounce it home. And so Noss gives Cincinnati a 1-0 lead. Just about 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the beginning of this game. Haven't really mentioned the head coaches yet. You get a look there at one of the assistants for Florida. She works with Mandy O'Leary. That was Taryn Van Thoff, and Nadine Handaggy, also an assistant. There's Mandy. Might see a little heavier layers on over the sideline today. On the other side, Gina Thomas, 7th year coaching at Cincinnati. Won a couple of World Cups and a fabulous collegiate player at The Ohio State University. Mandy O'Leary in her 10th year down at Florida. Think about the success that her teams have had and the number of players that have even gone on after playing as Florida Gators. Pretty darn impressive.
Great bounce to Romback for Florida off the draw. Again, the draw control won by the Gators, and Shannon Cavanaugh now 1-1 on that one.
Aldave works far side. This is Brianna Harris, the junior from Annapolis. Florida passes extremely well. One of their strengths, certainly their ability to stay composed offensively. Bearcats, I have a feeling defensively are going to come out with a lot of energy, but can they sustain it? That's the question. First couple minutes, so far so good. And let's be honest, this is not a David versus Goliath matchup. I mean, Florida's a really good team. They get a goal here. Nice job swirling around by Brianna Harris. Cincinnati's very much earned their place here in this championship game. But last week's regular season finale left a sour taste in the Bearcats' mouths.
This time, Brendan, Romback, number 14 for Florida, is not involved in scoring, but she screens out the goaltender, Durso. Durso did not have a chance on that one. Great goal by Brianna Harris, a sophomore, number 20 for Florida, to notch this one up.
All right, so we're all tied at 1. Juliana Durso made a number of saves and a number of really darn good saves in that first game. Ready for a draw control. Cavanaugh and Milkfeet. 2 steady hands at the draw circle. And Florida wins another one. The good news, if you're a Bearcat fan and you don't win draw controls, is that there haven't really been very many teams in the country that cause more turnovers than Cincinnati. And they are number 1 in the country out of 120 teams. Number 1 in the nation in ground balls picked up per game. So they are a very aggressive team defensively. They'll take some gambles. When you've got players back there defensively like Morgan Dukes, sometimes that's easier to do. But a great shot and a goal. Sydney Pareca makes it 2-1 Gators.
Talked about keeping the ball hot, moving it around. It's exactly what Florida did in this possession to go up on top. As you see with 26:18 to go, Durso's had an outstanding season this year in goal for Cincinnati. But again, Florida doing a great job. Nice run through by Pareca to score. Outstanding play by number 44. Sydney does a great job.
Kind of saw Ashley Adams coming in there at the end of the play, or I should say Alyssa Adams coming in at the end of that play there. In the meantime, let's throw it down to Rich Heidi.
Hey, Brendan and Mike, thanks so much. Just to set some context for a game like this, undoubtedly the most important game for the University of Cincinnati women's lacrosse program. 12 wins, a program record. 10 straight home wins, a program record. But they face off against a Florida team that has not lost a conference game in over 30 games. This senior class for Florida has never lost a conference game. Should be a high-powered offensive matchup. Lindsey Ronbeck last week against Cincinnati had 9 goals, a program record. And then Monica Borzillo, of course, on the other side for Cincinnati, over 100 points, one of the tops in the country.
Yeah, those 9 goals came Saturday against the Bearcats, so they're pretty well aware of what Ronbeck is capable of, and yet it's Pareka that's kind of stolen the spotlight here this weekend.
Pareka has been very good, as has Shannon Kavanaugh now with the third draw control of the match at this point. And the Gators have done very well in terms of clearing the ball. Their clearing percentage is super high this year. And against Cincinnati in that first matchup, it was literally near 100%, awfully efficient.
Pareka works far side, Aldave, and now Harris. Where's she want to go with it? Grace Haas, haven't spoken too much about her yet today, but thought she shined nicely. Ooh, takes a high check. A little surprised we're not seeing a yellow card come out.
Yeah, that certainly looked.
Well, it does come out. It just took a minute. That was certainly a high check on Alexandra Fess. Well, if you're going to be aggressive, you might as well try to go after it. But it does put some pressure here on Juliana Durso. So the free position for sophomore Grace Haas.
Florida's been really good with free position attempts this year, too. They can convert.
I say Grace looked like she had no intention of taking a shot there. Considering the one-player advantage, they'd rather take a more high percentage look. Kavanaugh back to the far side. Kavanaugh receives it again. Finds Haas, who puts it home. Florida 3 straight goals, and they've responded nicely. 3-1 Gators.
Great movement by the Gators. Durso tried to come out of the cage to make the stop, couldn't do it. The unique thing about Florida is I take a look at Sydney Pareka. She's always moving. She's always moving, and if you get a chance to take a look at what she does, she's pretty amazing. Good ball movement there, keeping it hot as we talked about. Great pass by Kavanaugh. Finish.
You know, Shannon Kavanaugh obviously doing her her best work inside the draw circle, but certainly getting involved there on the offensive end. Well, neither keeper's made a save yet. All 4 shots combined have gone in. If you're the Bearcats, you got to find a way to stop the bleeding here early and try to get one back. Obviously, one of the keys to the game we said early on for Cincinnati is right here. They've got to start winning draws.
And they are really having some trouble now. That's 4 out of 5 for Florida.
Yeah, and 4 in a row after Cincinnati took the opening one of the game. Kavanaugh right back to Haas. And Dukes is called for the cross check. And a yellow card on Morgan.
Again,
actually, you know what? It wasn't. I thought they had called a card on her. They instead just give the 8-meter. My mistake. Either way, this time Grace looks like she wants to shoot. Good save by Durso. Haas sticking with it. And she gets it back.
Durso did a good job. Got popped a little bit on that right wrist. Gators doing a good job clearing the ball, and then they move the ball quite well.
Well, Gina Thomas talks about needing to get into a good offensive flow early in games. But right now, they're spending a lot of time on the other end of the field. Cincinnati commits another foul. 8-meter free position coming for Shannon Kavanaugh. Great move by Kavanaugh, and she scores. 4-1 Gators.
She did a good job delaying that shot, and then she found a hole on the left side. And the Gators are on a roll here. Shannon Kavanaugh is not playing like a freshman. And Mandy Leary talked about her and said that she's seen great improvement from her this year, playing at a level like she's never seen her reach.
Well, Shannon's the midfielder of the year in the conference for good reason.
No doubt.
I have to admit, that's a Coach O'Leary that has a 4-1 lead and yet doesn't look all that thrilled. You can see her saying to her team, let's go, let's go. Well, that's the sign of a program that wants to go for the jugular.
No doubt about it. Keep going. Don't think about what you did in the last play. Just keep going, moving forward.
Oh, Kavanaugh had it in her stick and then taps her chest and says, my bad. So the Bearcats get it back. And if you're Cincinnati, you kind of have the feeling here that whether or not this is a lengthy offensive possession doesn't matter. They need to find a way to put the ball in.
No doubt about it, because Florida has that capacity offensively to really make a lot of runs, score 2-3 goals at a time, and all of a sudden you're facing a huge deficit.
Geisen and Alyssa Adams up top here. Adams with 4 first-half goals against the Temple Owls in the 13-9 semifinal win that Cincinnati had earlier this week. Adams not named to the American Athletic Conference all-conference team. It was something Gina Thomas pointed out as Borzillo turns it over. She said, essentially, hey, we got a kid who just played her heart out and had an incredible game. Just goes to show the depth that Cincinnati's developing. Well, they've got to get back quickly. Unbelievable control by Ronbeck. At full throttle speed, never lost a step, and she strikes so quickly.
That's that strength and that speed by Ronbeck. We've seen it all season long. That's why she had 9 goals in that first matchup. Just couldn't contain her. You got to give a lot of credit on the defensive end, way back on the field to number 33. Caitlin Dabkowski, I thought, did a really nice job helping out there for Florida on the backside.
Lindsey Ronbeck was actually just drafted in women's professional lacrosse, and I think without a doubt you're going to see her continue to play for quite a while. Mandy O'Leary has an awful lot of young ladies that are quite talented, but Pareca and Ronbeck, the 2 most recent draftees. Somewhere along the way, Cincinnati's got to make an adjustment on the draw because they're all going in the same direction and they're all being won by Florida.
And Sam Milkby has really not had a chance since that first draw control to be able to direct that ball to her teammates. Great effort by Shannon Kavanaugh there, and another foul.
It's the 5th foul on the Bearcats. Are in danger of falling behind here by 5 goals if they can't stop this free position. Coming from Durso's left. Good save. Got knocked out of Durso's stick, but Harris's shot did not go home. Second save of the afternoon by Juliana Durso.
Good job by Durso. Took the angle away from the shooter there. Didn't have a whole lot of space. Used her stick well.
Florida settles into the ride. And a little help from Amanda Donovan, who hasn't gotten into a great rhythm yet. Certainly a capable piece for Cincinnati, who's focused on building some depth. Far and away the best year in program history for the Bearcats at 12-6 overall. And, of course, the 2 wins over Temple. At one point, they beat San Diego State, Gardner-Webb, UConn, Butler, East Carolina, Temple, Vanderbilt, and Stetson all consecutively, 8 games in a row before losing last Saturday to close out the regular season. This is a program that's achieving new heights under a head coach that knows what it takes to win. And so the future looks bright, and it's promising here at Cincinnati. But Florida is proving to be a pretty tough foe for everybody across the league.
Again, great defense by Shannon Kavanaugh for the Gators.
Mandy O'Leary's side just does not give in. As the Gators try to clear here, this is something they've worked a lot on. Coach O'Leary says they spend a lot of time in practice on making sure they can get the ball up the field successfully. Got to get it on offense in order to have lengthier possessions. And their clearing percentage on the year is pretty darn high.
We talked about the leadership for Sydney Parecka, number 44. She's doing a great job putting her Gators in position to succeed here in this tournament.
Clear percentage, third best in the country at almost 92%. Great pass in the middle, and then a foul called against the Gators. That's on Haas. So the Bearcats take it back. Haas will have to go behind the play here. Well, I sure thought it was on Haas. Perhaps it's on Harris instead. All right. Bearcats need a minute. Look at that closing speed by Harris. So it's up to Durso. If you joined us a little late, alongside Mike Walensky, I'm Brendan Gulick with Rich Heide down on the sideline. First ever playing of the American Athletic Conference Lacrosse Championships. Florida Gators have never, well, at least in recent history, have not lost a conference tournament championship. And every year in their program, they've won the regular season championship. As the Bearcats call a timeout. Well, the first 10 minutes of this game have been high-stress moments. You're exactly 9 minutes, 59 seconds in. And, Mike, nothing has come easy for this Cincinnati side.
Nothing at all. Draw controls. It's been Shannon Kavanaugh mostly for Florida. And then defensively, they've really locked him down. And Haley in goal really hasn't had too many chances.
Let's check in with Rich Heide.
Century Justin's has provided unique, lasting experiences celebrating diversity and achievements for women's advance. To learn innovative ways to celebrate your success story, go to Justins.com. Justin's, the official and exclusive championship trophy and jewelry partner of the American Athletic Conference.
Hey guys, thanks so much. As you notice, 5-1 right now. UC with just 1 shot and 1 goal. 7 shots, meanwhile, for Florida. 5 goals to show for it. If you're Cincinnati, you have to protect your goalkeeper, Durso. She was so good in the game against Temple, allowed just 9 goals, but here, a ton of pressure on her. Cincinnati needs to cause some turnovers, get back to the ground ball game. #1 in the country in ground balls per game. They just need to get back to it and relieve this defense, which right now is being absolutely overwhelmed by this Florida offense, guys.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to get the ball back. I mean, really, that's where it starts, right? If you don't possess the ball, you're already at a disadvantage, and you put pressure on lots of different places. And frankly, when you're playing against a team that executes at the level Florida does, you're not going to win games if you do that.
No, not at all. And this is playing right into Florida's hands, their ability to control the draws, and then their efficiency clearing, and they're, again, attacking. They're attacking offensively. This is very important for them to be in this position early on. And just take a look at the sideline. We talked about body language in the semifinals. The body language on the sideline showcases the Florida women are very, very loose and feeling very good about themselves right now with a lot of energy.
Now, when you've got an All-American like Sydney Parecka, you can pretty much rely on her at all times, the way that she's out there controlling things, and of course an All-American and Lindsey Ronbeck.
The Gators doing a good job on Burzillo, double teaming her, slowing the tempo down, and now the Bearcats looking for a good shot.
Well, Cincinnati couldn't get a shot off. That's got to be a charge. No, it's called a blocking foul. Good try by Cincinnati. How'd you see this?
That's a good call.
Okay.
Play on. The Gators now have to be very careful if you're Cincinnati.
Good save by Durso. Shot from Ronbeck just a little bit too tall. Shot it right into Durso's stick up high. Dukes tries to cut back toward the middle and was fouled by Ronbeck. Fess needing some help. This is Adriana Fess. Harris causes a loose ball.
This has been a challenge for Cincinnati when they've met up with Florida, because in the last matchup, in terms of clears, the Bearcats were 5 of 8 and the Gators were perfect, 10 for 10.
Bearcats look a little lost defensively right now, working harder than they'd like to in the midfield. And the Bearcat fans are appreciative of the call that goes their way. That sends Caroline Benitez off. $18 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first half. And Florida playing a player down here as Benitez heads out. Play resumes. Caroline Benitez, senior from Darien, Connecticut. Somehow got out of the Huskies' backyard. UConn building their program and hoping they can be playing in these championships in the very near future. Did not qualify this year. Good pass in front, great finish. Gianna Napolitano, the Bearcats strike back, it's 5-2.
Berzilla with the nice feed. And Gianna Napolitano with her 21st goal of the season. And the Bearcats are within 3, and can they energize this club? There's Berzillo. And just inside the defender's assistance there for the Gators, that's number 22 on the help, Caroline May. May generally has been really good in this tournament so far. 5'5" senior, but not that time.
Napolitano scores the man-up goal.
And Alyssa Adams now is going to have a chance to win this draw control.
You know, I realize that it's only one goal, but somehow 5-2 feels a lot better than 5-1, doesn't it?
It does. And they need the momentum. Cincinnati needs the momentum.
Especially after having given up 5 in a row. 3 goals down doesn't feel like a big deal. Nice job winning the draw there by Amanda Donovan. So Cincinnati has a chance to score back-to-back goals here. Of course, now back at full strength. Kylie Noss near side.
Alyssa Adams listed at 5'7". She plays a lot bigger than that. She looks like she's a lot longer.
Adams trying to get away from Sabrina Cristodero. Shot clock still at 44. Plenty of time here. Good pass inside. Donovan strikes. 5-3, 2 in a row for the Bearcats.
Excellent job. Speaking about lanky, Amanda Donovan, 5'10", out of Ellicott City, Maryland. She goes to the far post, puts it on the ground. It's a 2-goal lead now for the Gators. Again, good job of moving the ball around by Cincinnati. Sains, Jade Sains, number 29. She's a senior.
Well, the fact is, when you're playing in games like this, especially for a senior class, you got to be able to rely on your upperclassmen to play like upperclassmen, right? So for someone like Donovan to step in and score a goal early on, keep some of that momentum going, that's important. Maybe now we understand more why Mandy O'Leary had the look on her face earlier when she didn't seem quite as thrilled with that 5-1 lead. Florida wins the draw control. Let's check in with Rich Heide.
Hey, thanks so much, Brendan. You see the perfect shot efficiency now for Cincinnati. 3 shots, 3 goals. This team is in unprecedented territory when you look at the Bearcats. Cincinnati has never beaten a ranked team, in fact, but they have beaten every team in the conference except for Florida, coming off of that 25-6 loss. Cincinnati has all the momentum in the world right now, guys.
Well, they've got as much momentum as they've had all game. I don't know if I'd say all the momentum in the world, but I certainly understand where you're coming from. This would be a big win for them. And frankly, there's still a lot of game to go. We're barely at the quarter pole, if you will, to borrow a Kentucky Derby term. That seems appropriate this weekend.
Yes, excellent job by Adriana Fest, number 19, coming up with the ground ball for Cincinnati.
And Dukes runs out of bounds. Nice job by Fess. That's Amanda Fess, the junior from Fayetteville. She and her triplet sisters, Adriana, Alexandra, and Amanda, all playing here in Cincinnati. Long, accurate pass to Kylie Noss. Here's Borzillo. Monica and Kylie work in tandem.
It's a big opportunity for UC right now. This really changes the flow of the game.
Alyssa Adams looking for a lane. Too tough an angle to shoot. 42 seconds on the shot clock. Good pass right in front. Another UC goal. Sam Milkfee makes it 5-4.
Again, keeping it hot. Good movement in front of the net. And you gotta like, if you're the Cincinnati fans, the Bearcats now making a run. Just slips right past the Florida defender, Caroline May. They're right back in this match.
Gina Thomas pretty fired up over on that far sideline. She says, I'm a Philly girl who's trying to grow the sport in the state of Ohio. I think we're doing a great job building things. And her team is right in the thick of it here midway through the first half. Conference championship on the line. Even though Florida's the #1 seed, they are playing essentially a true road game here. It's a predetermined venue to host the championship this year, even if the Bearcats didn't qualify. And oh, by the way, in the preseason poll, they were picked 5th. So they were not expected to be in the tournament, let alone to be in a championship game. 5-4 Gators. Good pass toward Ronbeck. Unbelievable spin move, and she rattles the top of the bar. Wow. Parecka tries to calm things down.
Durso has to play probably her all-time best today for the Bearcats to have a chance. She's been playing fairly well so far.
Parecka misses wide left. Florida scoops it up. No clock reset. Ronbeck dumps it in front. Boy, that was a pass that ended up being a goal. Wow. Ronbeck needs a second. She kind of got decked as she tried to pass the ball toward Brianna Harris. Lindsay ends up scoring.
There was a coach years ago that said movement creates mistakes. And certainly Florida moving that ball around quickly. Great pass by Ronbeck inside to number 20, Brianna Harris. And the Gators are on the board.
Lindsay took a Little shot there to the midsection. I don't know if it knocked the wind out of her or what the case might have been. You would think the way she's putting her arms up in the air, trying to get some oxygen back in her body. Take one more look at it here.
Ooh, took a shot right in the midsection.
Well, you got to be a tough kid or a tough young lady if you want to play this game.
No doubt about it. You have to be mentally and physically tough. And if you're not fearless, you can't compete.
We'll do it again. Toughness and grittiness, something that both these coaches preach to their team. Florida, I think, has an edge in their speed in this game, but this is a Cincinnati squad that are not afraid to go a full 60 minutes and play pretty physical with you. That's one of the big challenges they present as Cincinnati wins another draw.
Good job by Milkby releasing that pass. Brazillo.
Orzillo down the right side. Shuffles it ahead to Donovan. Adams being patient. Tries to go to her right. Can't get around Cristodero.
Try to isolate that side of the field for Adams 1v1.
Adams shoots for the far post. Nice save by Hicklin.
She may have held on to it a little bit too long, and Hicklin does a great job coming up with a save.
And here come the Gators. Gabkowski. Near side, Pareca.
You can see Pareca, 44, trying to settle her team down now.
Mandy O'Leary told us earlier this week how happy she is for Lindsay and for Sydney in particular. He said they've devoted so much time and effort to this game. They truly love it. You're starting to see results.
It's
thrilled
great
for them to have chances to keep playing. And she said they really don't play for stats and awards, even though they tend to rack up a lot of them because they're so talented. Grace Haas on the doorstep here of putting Florida up by 3.
Selfless play by Pareca. Selfless.
Haas shoots for the low corner, puts it in. Florida back out 7-4.
Great delivery by Haas there, number 15. Grace, the attacker, she slanked the 5'9" out of Baltimore, sophomore. Drives that ball down. Look on the low left side of the post. No chance there for Durso.
.12:35 left in the first half.
That goal, I think, can be attributed to Shannon Kavanaugh, starting out with the draw control. If not there, they're not going to be able to put the ball in the position to create pressure. Great job by this youngster, number 17.
You're Florida, 7 goals in the first 18 minutes. Nothing wrong with that. If you're Cincinnati and you're only down 3, how pleased are you?
You got to be very pleased. You're in a really good shape. This match is a long way to go.
Well, the Bearcats were down 16-4 at halftime to Florida last Saturday, so they've still got a long ways to go here, but this appears to be a much better game from them as Ronbeck takes a good pass and just kind of rolls it home.
Tremendous job by Ronbeck. And we'll get a chance to see this goal, I believe, but her ability to move away from the ball here, as you see the Gators sharing it. Kavanaugh once again with the assist. Great movement right there, cuts right in the slot on the near side. And another goal for the Gators.
That Gator fight song is echoing off the buildings here in the Clifton area. They've heard it a lot throughout their time here in Cincinnati, both on Thursday with 19 goals and 8 goals in the first 18 minutes so far today. Been an awfully busy weekend on campus with graduation this weekend at the University of Cincinnati. And their graduations have been broken up between the different colleges, so they've actually had graduation ceremonies every day that we've been here. It's been fun to see this campus in particular so alive at this time of year. Hopefully some of them have made their way down to the stands at some point to at least catch some of the action. We're at the Sheakley Athletic Center here in Cincinnati. Good draw control won by the Bearcats. Foul on the Gators.
Yep, Sabrina Cristodero a little bit too close there.
Well, you said earlier in our telecast, Borzillo needed to be Cincinnati's best player. How would you assess that so far?
So far, I don't think that's been the case. I think Florida's been doing a really good job locking her down. Again, it looks like Shannon Kavanaugh has the task out here, or perhaps another defender. I think it might be Kara Trombetta doing a real nice job on her.
Cincinnati 4 goals, 5 shots on target.
Yep, it's Trombetta 16.
Florida 8 goals, 11 shots on goal. All 4 Cincinnati goals have come from 4 different players, and Borzillo has an assist, but no goals on her credit. Adams isn't going to sneak by anybody on a scouting report after her first semifinal. Well, it was a good pass over the middle, but Cincinnati couldn't come up with it. Bearcats pick up the ground ball in the midfield. They'll keep possession. Shot clock's at 20.
Donovan is a senior. Again, she's been effective. She scored a goal for the Bearcats.
Milkby with 7 to shoot.
You can't
to get something off quickly.
Yeah, and you can't discount Rombeck's defensive play, too. She played very well on the backside there for Florida on that last series. Great effort by an outstanding scorer, number 14.
Lindsay Ronbeck's already got a hat trick this afternoon. Grace Haas has 2. Harris, Pareca, and Kavanaugh have all scored. Although Florida lately here has been on their heels a little bit. It almost feels like Cincinnati is playing a little more relaxed, settled in better.
Mm-hmm. And they're winning some ground balls, and we know coming into this one how effective they are in accomplishing that task.
Winner of this game has all the drama taken out of tomorrow night's selection show. Team that loses this game will have to hope for an at-large bid tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Good move by Adams to keep control, but Hicklin makes a nice low save.
Yeah, nice footwork by Adams, spinning by Pareca.
Good clearance. Kara Trombetta took it all by herself. Defender of the year in the American. Does her job well.
She does. She's been playing very well. And certainly right now, Florida has the advantage. Playing very well at both ends.
This is the kind of situation that Florida can feel more comfortable in because they've been in these a lot throughout the course of the year. They've had some leads. They've been behind in some tight games. But when you play some of the best teams in the country, game in and game out, outside of the league, and then as Rich alluded to earlier, they haven't lost a conference game in half a dozen years. Suddenly it doesn't feel quite as dramatic or suspenseful for you. You don't feel the same level of pressure, despite the fact the stakes are high here. Good ground ball caused by the Bearcats. It was Fess. Amanda Fess sends it back near side. Well, those defensive stops, little by little, will help Cincinnati, despite the fact it's 8-4. They get a foul on Florida.
Give credit to Donovan on the defensive side for the Bearcats.
Clock stops at 7:51. Ready to go. Well done by Dukes. Trying to go to her right. She is Cincinnati's best defender.
5-4 out of Bowie, Maryland. Had an outstanding match in that semifinal against Temple.
Well, there's some awfully good youth lacrosse in Maryland, isn't there? Obviously, the Terrapins have one of the best teams in the country, but lacrosse is a way of life out on the East Coast, in the Delaware, Philadelphia, Maryland areas, certainly out on Long Island. Borzillo near side. How can she get around the defense? She can't. She's called for a hold. And Borzillo has a free position.
Borzillo shows her athleticism as Dabkowski bangs into her. And a good sign for the Bearcats.
She'll stand on the hash outside the arc. So it's a tough angle for Borzillo. You might see her pass it rather than try to take a shot here. Great pass, great shot. Adams scores.
I don't think they were looking for Adams to make that cut. They were maybe looking for Noss, but she snuck in from the backside on the near post. That's a big goal for Cincinnati.
And it's 8-5. Adams with another good first half. Her first goal in this championship game. Melissa Adams, a sophomore from Red Lion area senior high school. That's in York, Pennsylvania. Just 6:53 left in the first half. This has been a very different game than the one we saw these two teams play down in Gainesville last weekend.
Dramatically different. You got to give a lot of credit to the Bearcats right now for their effort. The Gators are still playing at an extremely high level in this match, as they should be. We're in a championship setting.
Florida's won 9 of the 13 draws, but they give it up there to Milkvey. Gators have turned it over 7 times and lately haven't been quite as effective on the offensive end. That goal from Adams snapped a stretch of 3 unanswered Florida goals. Remember, Cincinnati had cut it to 5-4 at the 15-minute mark when Milkvey put one in. But Ronbeck and Haas have scored the last 3 for the Gators. Back to Florida here. Look at Pareca.
Tremendous job.
By herself.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear how windy it is outside. Wind is certainly picking up.
Conditioning very important in this match because of the weather conditions.
No doubt. Pareca makes a good pass in front. Kavanaugh shoots it too tall, but it stays with the Gators. Pass toward the middle, over the top of Benitez, and the Bearcats pick up a ground ball. Milkvey in the midfield. Well done. Even better job by Florida. Cristodero and Ronbeck refuse to give it in.
Great job by Chris
Mandy
Tadero.
O'Leary calls timeout.
Chris Tadero, a little poke check from behind, causing the turnover. That was huge for the Gators.
Clock stopped at 5:22 on that timeout. I have a feeling Florida is not thrilled with the way things are going. There's no doubt that it's been a challenging first half for them. Let's check in with Rich Heide.
Hey guys, this Florida team, we talked about it coming in 9 straight conference regular season titles. This Florida team has played a lot of great ranked teams. 8 of their opponents in the non-conference slate were ranked entering this season. They face a 12-win Cincinnati team. But how about the draw control battle? That's an added element to be able to sustain possessions. 9-5 Florida in this one. They doubled up Cincinnati last Saturday in the 25-6 win. 22 draw controls versus 11 for Cincinnati. That's a big reason why you see Florida up right now.
You know, you certainly see the Bearcats playing better from a draw control perspective, but that's really where it all begins. I mean, if you can win draws, you already put yourself at an advantage.
You bet. And you see, and Coach Thomas has mixed it up. We've seen Milkfeet, and we've also seen Adams take those roles, and they've got to do that because early on, Milkfeet was being completely dominated by Shannon Kavanaugh from Florida.
Well, Bearcats have 1 shot on a free position. It was a goal from Kylie Noss early on. Florida's had 4 total shots on free positions. They've scored twice. I think that's something the Bearcats are trying to find a way to take advantage of is get in positions where they can draw more free position shots.
And again, a lot of it can be attributed to the outstanding defensive play of the Gators. And perhaps not enough ball movement for Cincinnati from time to time. Things sort of have bogged down a little bit for Coach Thomas's club here in the first half. This possession now for Florida can really be important for them in terms of getting back on top offensively.
Gina Thomas doesn't look worried. I asked her when she first fell in love with the game, she started laughing, and she goes, you know, I actually was an 8th grader, and I was playing basketball, and I was so sure I was going to be the next Cynthia Cooper or Cheryl Swoops. Life was good. And she said, and then a coach said, well, you're fast, you're athletic, why don't you go play lacrosse? She goes, I was absolutely horrible. Could not keep the ball on my stick, but I fell in love with the game and figured out after a little while how to develop the skills I needed. And she said, and then all of a sudden you start playing in the national tournament for U.S. Lacrosse, and Ohio State saw her as a blue-collar player that just wanted to be a really competitive player. Maybe not the absolute most talented of players, but they gave her a shot. And she said, after I graduated from Ohio State, I thought about starting my own daycare because I love kids, and then all of a sudden one of her mentors gave her a chance to coach at Duquesne. He gave her a lot of flexibility, and she goes, you know, maybe I do want to do this after all. Maybe I want lacrosse to be my way of life. And so it's all of a sudden looking back on it. Gina Thomas, who was Gina Oliver, has been around this game for an awfully long time. Shot goes off the post, and the Bearcats get it back. She's been able to pass her love for the game on to a lot of these young women here at Cincinnati. It's great to see that program taking such a big step forward, playing in their first postseason, let alone their first championship game.
This is really big for not only the kids in the program, but also the prospects that are taking a look at these programs and whether or not they want to make a decision to play here.
Well, another turnover by Cincinnati. Florida Gators dominated Vanderbilt 19-10. 12-6 during the regular season. When you lose to Maryland, Syracuse, North Carolina, Princeton, and the likes, as well as two other top 20 teams, you know what it takes. You've seen enough of that top-end talent. You know how to win these games. And Florida's proven that. Come tournament time, they're hoping to lock up an NCAA tournament berth. Parecka shoots down and away.
Parecka just seems to have exceptional speed. Hard for Cincinnati's defenders to keep up with her.
8-5 Gators. They trailed 1-0 early, but not since then, as Durso makes another save. Ronbeck fired it at her, but Durso was right on the spot. Just over 3 minutes to go as Borzillo was pushed out of bounds. Again. Well, fans are having some fun. Looks like the whole Bearcat baseball team made their way over today. They don't have a game today as Borzillo stepped in the sideline on her own accord there.
Good, solid defense by the Gators. As Dukes comes across, looks like she may have fouled the Florida competitor on the sideline over there.
Cincinnati's baseball team dropped a couple games here at home. And I say here at home because literally their field is right behind us. They lost a doubleheader to East Carolina yesterday, who's ranked as high as 8th in the country in some of the national polls and almost a unanimous top 10 program. They've got the day off today and they'll play their series finale tomorrow, so they came out to support the lacrosse team. Thought that was cool.
Yeah, it is cool. You'd love to see that camaraderie at linkage. And fortunately for the baseball program, they're seeing a winning Cincinnati women's lacrosse program, and that could be a benefit for them.
Inside of 2 minutes.
It is unique to me that Shannon Kavanaugh will play almost the entire game. She's just
pretty much never comes out.
It's amazing. Amazing what she can give to this club.
Florida's really had to grind for it after a nice little spurt offensively early in this first half. Trying to add one late before halftime. Ronbeck misses wide left. Dukes couldn't pick it up. Ronbeck still down. Pareca from the crease, high and wide. And Lindsey Ronbeck is still on the turf right outside the goalie circle.
Let's hope she's okay.
Hard to know for sure what happened. Let's take a look here.
Maybe got hit in the head.
I think she did get hit in the head, but it also kind of looked like she fell awkwardly. Her right ankle as she was going down. Well, Ronbeck has been battered here this game. I mean, she, part of it's her own doing because she invites the contact.
She does.
But part of it is Cincinnati's aggressiveness defensively. All right, 20 seconds on the shot clock for Florida. Just 1:23 left in regulation. Good to see Lindsey still in there playing okay. Another loose ball in the crease, picked back up. Back to Ronbeck, and she rifles it at Durso.
Wow.
Beautiful save.
Nice save by Durso. Stayed her ground. And like you said, she really hammered one through there.
Shot clock is off here. Final minute of the first half.
That's almost point blank. Great job by Durso.
Dukes outruns Kavanaugh and then runs into a wall. Actually draws a foul. Cincinnati could hold for the last shot if they want it here. 8-5 feels a heck of a lot better.
It does.
16-4 last Saturday. And we get a stoppage for another Florida Gator down. I didn't see the foul, but the athletic training staff for Florida, I think, is being waved onto the field here. Well, hopefully everything's okay. You never want to speculate at the nature of an injury, but one of the Gators clearly not right. I didn't see who that was that got hit. Hopefully we'll be able to tell you here on our replay. Yeah.
It's Cara Trombetta, number 16.
Kind of looked like as she was trying to split through two Bearcats. Her body just got tangled a little bit. Took a tough shot. So they're working on Cara. Good to see her get back to her feet. And hopefully she'll be okay to continue at some point, although with only 27 seconds left in this first half, I would imagine she probably won't come back until at least next half. But good to see her walking off under her own power.
Concern is she probably hit her head and potential for concussion.
So Cara walks off, and if she's not able to continue, that's a big loss. I mean, she was the Conference Defender of the Year and a really important piece for Florida for sure. But they've got some other players that can kind of slide in. I think Florida may have just brought on Emily Patillo, a junior from New Jersey and a transfer from Louisville. Only 15 seconds left in the half here. Noss uses the screen nicely and shoots wide. This will stay with Cincinnati with 8 seconds and counting. 5. And this loose ground ball probably means the Bearcats won't get one off. All right, we've reached halftime. Pretty competitive game so far. I'd like to see what Cincinnati has done in an 8-5 game, considering, again, it was 16-4 when these two teams met last weekend. But it's still the top-seeded Florida Gators out front. At one point scored 5 unanswered goals early in the first half. And once they took the lead, it's one they haven't relinquished. Get a look there at the Cincinnati coaching staff as they're trying to get their adjustments made. Meanwhile, let's go down to Rich Heide, standing by with Florida coach Mandy O'Leary.
Hey guys, I'm here with the leading head coach, Mandy O'Leary. Coach, you faced UC just 1 week ago. Are you seeing anything different from them in this conference title?
Yeah, I mean, we knew we were. I mean, you know, it's their home field. They have the advantage here. So, yeah, but I'm really proud of how our team is responding. You know, we're getting the ball down on our offensive end. We gave up some early goals, but I think we've been pretty solid thus far. So let's hope it continues.
In terms of the draw controls, you doubled up UC last time you played them. You're up 9-5 in terms of the draw controls in this one. How much of a point of emphasis is that?
I mean, it's huge. If you start with the ball, you have a better chance of scoring. If you don't, you're on defense. So it's simple as that, and we want possession of the ball.
And then you guys have also won 30 straight conference games. Your seniors have never lost a conference game. How much confidence does that give you, and to be able to have that success coming into this game?
Yeah, I mean, they probably don't talk about it. We don't talk about it very much because it's just another game for us. Although it's championship Saturday, which is huge, but we just are looking to get that 31st.
Thanks so much, Coach. Best of luck.
So at the break, it's the Florida Gators 8 and the Cincinnati Bearcats 5. Physical first half. Florida dominated early on, but the Bearcats responded nicely, especially Juliana Durso with some just terrific saves. It just wasn't quite enough. We'll continue with our halftime coverage coming up shortly. It's the Gators by 3 here on the American Digital Network.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Scores 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
How do you drive impact for 200 years? By doing it boldly. By building a bridge, breaking a barrier, planting a flag, owning a stage. Because here, we learn by doing and believe the status quo was built to be broken. So be proud, be bold, be Cincinnati. We're 2 centuries in, and we're still creating what's next. We are boldly Bearcat.
Now, some great Bearcat defense late in the first half has kept this game fairly close at Florida 8, Cincinnati 5. The 8th and final goal scored by Florida came with 12-12 on that first half clock. Juliana Durso, just a terrific first half in total, 5 saves, and the Bearcats are trying to make some adjustments on the offensive end. Halftime stats and analysis when we come back. Some highlights along the way as well. It's the Gators halfway home to an American Athletic Conference crown on the American Digital Network.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Bernie scores 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
Just about ready to start the second half, just a couple minutes away with the top seed Florida Gators out front on the road in this American Athletic Conference inaugural championship. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. Obviously, Kylie Noss got it started offensively, and as things went along, it wasn't looking good for Cincinnati, Mike.
No, it wasn't. Florida really dominated on the defensive end, particularly the draw controls, and they got a lot of scoring out of some of their stars. Pareca there, number 44, is one. Here's another little put away by Haas, number 15. But Cincinnati did hang in there and got a few goals to kind of feel like they've got a chance, and they did a good job of moving the ball around, and there was milk-feast scoring for the Bearcats as you take a look at Coach Gita Thomas.
Florida ended up scoring a couple of additional goals late in that first half. Lindsey Ronbeck really fighting through some tough play, able to score twice there in just a couple minutes stretch. Grace Haas put home the other one.
Again, a great job of Florida keeping it hot. They did a good job of really breaking down the Bearcats defense and scoring goals. And frankly, when I look at this one, as far as the second half is concerned, I think these kids are these individuals, women, are very smart. They're not only smart on the field, but they're also very good students. They're very well prepared. And the women coming into this championship understand there's hardware coming in at the end of this. I think the focus is at halftime is what you do mentally and how you motivate yourself and get yourself ready to play, both mentally and also physically, making sure you're hydrated too. I think these coaches' message is really more, encouraging them to feel good about themselves and how hard you can compete and finish. They've got to finish.
Bearcats coming back out on the field as Haley Hicklin gets ready for the start of the second half. Where did Cincinnati do a better job of maybe cooling off Sydney Parecka after that incredible game on Thursday?
I think it seems like they've had more traffic in front of the goal. There's just more physical contact, and perhaps as far as Cincinnati's concerned, they do have some athletes. And they have some individual players who are really stepping it up, which is very important for them to be able to have a chance in this one today.
There's Kylie Noss and Alyssa Adams. They've been a pretty important piece offensively. They've each scored 2 goals and have arguably been among the best players in this tournament.
And I think when you think about Cincinnati too, Brendan, they've got some length.
Sure.
There's some size out there, so that's having an effect too on the field. But again, I think when you look at the first half, clearly Florida feels very confident about what they accomplished. I think it's a matter of motivation for Cincinnati. I think they have to finish. They have to play as hard in the second half as they did in the first half. If they continue to do that, we're going to have a really close finish here. If not, Florida, with their athleticism, may find themselves in the driver's seat.
Well, the Gators have only converted on 2 of 6 free positions. That's one of the areas I'm sure they're hoping to improve on here in the second half. There's just a very light rain falling. It's almost more of a mist than a rain. Certainly shouldn't affect play too much as we get ready for the start of the second half. 30 minutes away potentially from crowning a champion, and they would be the first in American Athletic Conference history. Florida trying to attack quickly, but a shot too tall from Kavanaugh.
Again, nice delivery by Ronbeck to find a flash in Kavanaugh. Cincinnati, again, defensively, always in front of Durso, doing a good job from a position standpoint, helping their goalkeeper out.
Meanwhile, she's out of your picture, but Cara Trombetta is on the field after taking a pretty tough hit late in the first half, and she did not play the final 30 seconds before halftime. So whatever the injury was that shook her up, not enough to keep her out of the game. As the Bearcats turn it over, this is Trombetta. Obviously, the Gators want her healthy, but prefer to have her out there. Cristodero clears it successfully.
Again, their ability to clear the ball for this match has been really good as well. And as long as the Gators continue to play hard on the offensive end and win these draw controls, they're going to be a tough out in this match today.
Parecka in the first half, just 1 goal on 4 shots. She had 5 goals and 6 assists against Vanderbilt 48 hours ago. You get a whistle from well outside the area of play. In fact, it was blown by the official who's out of your picture to the left, but he saw something he didn't like, and so Florida gets a free position.
And Florida's been exceptional on these free positions throughout the course of the year. Here's another opportunity.
Brianna Harris. Harris has 1 goal, 1 assist in this one. Takes the shot, gets it past Durso and scores. Florida strikes first in the second half. It's 9-5.
Harris, the 5'8 junior out of Annapolis, Maryland, drives it home for the 9th Gator goal of this afternoon. One of the things that stands out to me in this last possession was Sydney Pareca being so selfless, giving up the ball. She had, I thought, a few opportunities to take some shots, but she gave it up, get a better look. That's called leadership and teamwork.
Well, there's no doubt her leadership's been one of her biggest qualities all season long. And it turns into Harris putting one home, so the Gators are up by 4. They've never led by more than that. They had a 5-1 lead and an 8-4 lead. Now it's 9-5. Maybe that's part of another free position for Florida here on the far side. This is Pareca. Good defense. It's going the other way.
Good goalkeeping. Durso came out of the box, took a couple steps, cut the angle off. Didn't really give her a chance to take a good shot.
Can't step in the crease. It's as simple as that. When you find your way across that line, no matter what happens, it's waved off. So here come the Bearcats with Taylor Geisen. Clock stops here for a minute, 27:30. I think Florida had too many players on the defensive end to pull one of them out. Can't have more than 7 players, and that includes your goalkeeper. They had 8. Well, the beginning of this second half has had a pretty slow rhythm to it. I'm not sure that helps either team settle in with some odd tempo. False start back the other way. Again, light rain falling, but probably not affecting play too much. It is very windy here this afternoon. Florida Gators, they've won 9 conference championships. They were ALC champs 11 through 14. Won the Big East each of the last 4 years, and champions in the American here this year. Trying to win their 6th consecutive conference championship tournament.
Ooh, took a hit.
That's not how you draw it up.
No.
And the Bearcats, Sam Milkvey, probably lucky not to have a card.
Yeah, I think it was an inadvertent foul. I don't think it was something that was intentional. But another free position opportunity.
Good stop by Durso. Duke scoops up the ground ball, spins out of trouble. But Pareca has it checked down to the turf by Borzillo.
Boy, Pareca has just so good athletically. When she picks up the ball and then she moves to her left, she's really good.
Cincinnati is being outshot 24-9, and yet they only trail 9-5. A lot of defense for the Bearcats throughout this game. Somewhere along the way, they're going to need some additional time on the other end of the field. Playing really well, but at the moment, not quite well enough. And Dukes, it's called for a hit to the head.
And that's really unfortunate for UC because there'll be a lady down here on the field, so that means that Florida has a chance.
Not only that, but Dukes is their best defender. 25-45. Oh, beautiful pass to Ronbeck. She scores easily. Lindsey Ronbeck.
Nice footwork in front of the goal. She moved about 3 feet away, and then turned off her left shoulder and fired it home. Off the far corner again. Nice pass there by Shannon Kavanaugh, number 17. Good footwork by Lindsey Ronbeck, going right around the Cincinnati defender, number 20. One of the Fest sisters, that's Alexandra Fest.
83rd goal of the year for Lindsey Ronbeck. Kavanaugh gets her 22nd assist. More importantly for Florida, they now lead 10-5.
Brendan, you talked about the rain coming down, and quite interesting how all the Gator subs on the sideline most of them have their hoods on, but not Coach O'Leary. She's fine with it. Of course, she's a Temple grad, so of course, most of the players are familiar with this kind of weather.
Yeah, the vast majority of both rosters from the East Coast. Cool and windy and wet weather is normal. Meanwhile, I think Dukes is going to have a free position. You don't see this very often. She's got a big fan base here. You're getting behind her. Dukes has never scored a goal, and she does not take a shot. Instead, it goes to Noss after a couple passes.
Great passing by Milkfee into Noss for the goal with the left hand on the top side.
How much do you love that? Morgan Dukes has taken one shot in her career. Never scored. She gets a free position, but wants to get her team a goal closer. So instead, she pulls it out. They look for a better look. It comes quickly, and Kylie Noss scores her second.
Big opportunity for the Bearcats right now, but they have to win this draw control here to get back in the match. And Shannon Kavanaugh has been exceptional for Florida in that role this afternoon.
(10-6) Florida. Still a lot of game in front of us. Bearcats need to get a draw control here. Florida has taken 11 of the 17 draws. Taking a moment to get the ball level. Florida flings it up in the air. Ronbeck couldn't scoop it up cleanly, but on the second bounce she does. Lindsey Ronbeck got bumped, and she'll be called back to her spot.
We don't talk about her much, but Sabrina Cristodero, number 10, did a good job of keeping the ball alive. She's a defender, just 5'2", but boy, she's really powerful for the Gators today.
Florida's aggressive on offense when they want to be, but they've been a little more patient here in the final than they have been at other points this year.
They have been, and I wonder, what that might be. It could be the weather, it might be the defense they're facing. But now another free position opportunity for Florida.
Well, that speaks to that point. We're concerned with length of possession and high percentage shot rather than a free position shot. The flag comes out. It's on Amanda Fess. So while they get things situated out on the field, let's quickly go down to Rich Heide.
Hey guys, I'm out here in the rain, and it's spitting rain. You always worry about two things. You worry about being able to see, the vision, of course, a key element, and then also being able to maintain balance. The field a little bit wet, but I don't think it's playing too much of a factor in this one here, guys.
What a diving goal by Lindsey Ronbeck.
Oh, my.
Holy smokes.
Oh, my. That was amazing. On the fly, flipped it over her right shoulder. Take a look at this one. Wow, what a play by Ronbeck.
Fakes up high. Sure not to cross into the crease. Finds the back of the net. That kid's tough, man. She is really, really good. So it's 11-6. Or I should say Cincinnati calls timeout.
Well, that was as gutsy a goal as we've seen all day long.
Let's go back down to Rich for a minute.
Hey guys, Ronbeck now with 5 goals, 5 of the 11. Just to reiterate, she had 9 the last time these two teams faced off. A Tewarton Award watch list player, first team all-conference we mentioned, and also the attack player of the year for this Florida Gators team. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, 5 of the 6 goals have been scored by different players. So really, that scoring has been dispersed around the roster for the Cincinnati Bearcats, but they have to score a lot and in a hurry to get back into this one, guys.
Well, they've had to spread around the offense on the Cincinnati side because if they don't find ways to get everybody involved, Florida's too fast to kind of lock down one player in particular. So I think for Cincinnati, you really weren't expecting to see one individual player go off today. At least I wasn't.
No, I think Cincinnati's done as good a job as they could to be able to spread the wealth out offensively. As you mentioned, they're not as gifted athletically or as physical, but speaking about physical, that score there by Florida's Lindsey Ronbeck was about as physical a goal as you'll ever see, and she flat out ran right into the turf in her face. Boy, that takes a lot of guts.
Yeah. I mean, she's had a challenging day, but a lot of times her athleticism is able to overcome some of those tight situations.
Absolutely beautiful in that finish there for the Gators, now up 11-6.
So Florida looking for its 6th consecutive conference tournament championship. Is that the first time we've seen her smile? I mean, she's such a crazy, relentless competitor. We don't see her smile all that often, at least not in the heat of the battle. But you know she plays with joy, that's for sure.
No doubt. I think that goal really has helped this Florida sideline because you took a look at Coach O'Leary there. She looked a little bit different too. She's a little bit more comfortable, it looks like, in the driver's seat with 24-21 to go in this one.
Florida's 5-goal lead right now is their largest of the afternoon. Ronbeck having scored each of the last 2 and 3 of the team's last 4 goals. It's been a 5-goal afternoon for Lindsey. Meanwhile, Cincinnati must have done something at the end of that last goal that I had missed. You know what? Looks like there was a yellow card after the goal. We appreciate the information from the UC Sports Info staff. Adriana Fess called for the cross-check. So the Bearcats down a player here. Kavanaugh. 1-on-1 against Dukes.
Well, Davi, number 8's been a good distributor for the Gators today.
That's Benitez. Kavanaugh couldn't handle it, scoops it back up. Shot clock 38.
Bam.
Didn't take long after
My goodness.
regaining things. Florida all of a sudden out front 12-6.
Harris drilled a beautiful pass to Ronbeck, and she just absolutely toward the back end of the net there with that goal. Bam.
What an afternoon for Lindsey Ronbeck. Half dozen today. It's still 3 shy of what she did last Saturday against the Bearcats. And Florida with now a 12-6 lead has a championship in sight. Draw control won by Adams. And here come the Bearcats. They've got to put the brakes on this quickly.
Yep, they got to get it right now.
All of Florida's goals today have come in spurts. 5 in a row in a 3.5-minute stretch early in the game. Then they scored 3 in a row in 2 minutes. That came in the middle of the first half. Florida led 8-5 at halftime. And then in the second half, Florida has scored back-to-back goals twice. There hasn't been much time between either of those two sets. Good pass. Shot rattles off the bar. Milkfeet couldn't finish.
And that is why Haley Hicklin is in goal. She's got great response time. Great coordination. Number 29 for the Gators. Her reaction time is outstanding.
Adams wants to go left. Denied. Then dropped it when she tried a second time. Good persistency by Borzillo. Apparently she wins it. Trombetta disagrees. Inside 22 minutes remaining. Top seed Florida Gators undefeated in the regular season, but playing on the road here at a predetermined site for the conference championship.
Caroline May once again draws Adams on the assignment here for the Gators.
Donovan spins back to her right, lobs a pass down behind the cage toward Geisen.
The question that we have here is, can Cincinnati finish? Can they take it up another notch to get back in this match?
Shot clock's at 7, so they've got to hurry here. How about a low shot just a little bit wide? Shot clock's at 1. I guess they got it off in time, but missed. Here comes Ronbeck.
And these are opportunities generally where in this tournament the Gators have made the opposition pay.
Just about 2/3 of the way home. Florida Gators 12, Cincinnati Bearcats 6. First ever playing of the American Athletic Conference Championships. If you've missed any highlights along the way, you can check them out. They're already posted at American_WLAX. Give us a follow on Twitter. Be our all sources of information that you need regarding lacrosse in the conference. Boy, Ronbeck was just getting ready to pull the trigger, and for some reason a horn blew across the way. I'm not sure what the reason was for the stoppage. You know what? It was a air horn in the stands, not an air horn down on the field.
Thought that might be in the case, and you look at the referees. Thought there might have been an inadvertent whistle because they kind of looked at each other like, what's going on?
Well, I don't know who had that, but obviously that's not cool, and certainly not allowed. Ronbeck was just getting ready to shoot when they blew that horn. That's too bad. Well, Florida keeps possession here, and they've still got 25 to shoot. Trying to overcome some adversity, and they do. Kavanaugh gets credit. She puts it in the back of the net. And maybe that fires up the Gators.
Again, Paige Eldavi, number 8, doing a really good job distributing the ball. Did it on the left side, then they got it into Kavanaugh. As you take a look at this one, Perica to Kavanaugh. Far post. Gators on the board again.
Well, ever since the Bearcats cut it to 10-6, Florida has threaded home 3 in a row. It's their largest lead of the game at 13-6. Let's go down to Rich Heide.
Hey guys, just a quick statistical update here. Florida doubling up UC shots 28-13, 19-11 in terms of shots on goal. And then you look at the ground ball statistic, UC with 29 per game coming into this one, just 16 ground balls today versus 20 for Florida.
Bearcats have to go back and play defense. Can almost feel like Florida's starting to just slip a little bit ahead here. Somebody for Cincinnati needs to make a big play if they want to keep this game within reach. On one hand, the Bearcats can be proud of the way that they've played a much better game against Florida here this week after a tough week exactly 7 days ago. But Florida's darn good. I mean, this Gator team is really, really good. And because of the way that they have scheduled so tough early in the year, they're prepared for moments like this.
They have the pieces to compete for championships, both at the American level and at the NCAA level. A lot of leadership on this club, but tremendous athleticism and commitment and toughness.
Well, Benitez fouled, so she'll have an 8-meter free position here.
She's another one of those seniors.
Florida's only turned it over once the entire second half. After 8 first half turnovers, they've taken care of it very well. Caroline Benitez gives it off, and Ronbeck couldn't receive the pass. It was too far behind her. Dukes touched it with her bare hand. So the Gators maintain possession, under a minute on the shot clock. Harris denied by Fess. That's Amanda Fess. High skip pass over the top. Back to Harris. She got hit up high. So free position off the far right hash.
Look for
Florida's only, I was just going to say, Florida's only 3 for 9 on their free positions. That one's too high. It'll be 3 of 10. Cincinnati can certainly hang their hat on that. Into the middle, Ronbeck shoots low and it hits the left post. Inches away from another goal.
Just missed one, but that time I think Cincinnati did a better job on the back end defending her, forcing her to take a shot that nearly went in.
Bearcats have only scored once since halftime, and that was 8 minutes ago. UC needs to get back on the board here quickly.
Florida's not the type of team, though, that's going to give up a lot of quick goals. They really work things through defensively.
Certainly haven't been, you're right. Not impossible, but
nope.
Can't waste any time here. Got to take advantage of your offensive chances. Florida has dominated possession in the second half. Borzillo's kind of had a quiet night. She's playing hard, but she's been well marked. Monica, more than 100 points on the season. Not many players across all levels of the NCAA have hit that mark. 7 to shoot. Borzillo looking into the middle, and Cincinnati can't get a shot off.
And great defense by the Gators.
Round ball scooped up by Dabkowski, and here she comes, easily clearing. Look how quickly Florida settles in. Harris back far side. Well, the Bearcats recover defensively. Intensity of the rain increasing a little bit. But again, no thunderstorms in the area, so we're not really expecting any delays coming our way. Almost halfway through the second half. Trying to connect with Ronbeck in the crease. She couldn't handle it. Here comes Cincinnati. Jade Sains, a senior from New York, trying to help work it through the midfield. Good work by the Fest sisters. Who's going to try to spark the Cincinnati offense?
Well, Ness is one of them, number 6. She's got opportunities here with some size and length.
Just to give you an idea, Cincinnati has taken as many total shots as Florida has scored goals. Outshot right now, 30-13. Intercepted, knocked down. And then the ground ball picked up finally. Emily Patillo, the junior defender, does her job well for Florida. Here come the Gators.
I think the Gators have really worn defensively on Cincinnati to a point where there's not a whole lot of confidence shooting and trying to score here. They have just physically drained them in this match.
I agree. You can start to see some of the fatigue.
Yep.
It's also tough to play 2 games in 3 days, especially when the games have this level of intensity and emotion.
Yes, especially the emotion. It's kind of been a roller coaster ride in today's world for the Bearcats. But they want to finish strong.
Urek up, sidestepped every defender, but couldn't get to the cage itself. Clock's at 13:25. Ronbeck's pass back toward Kavanaugh, mishandled. Pareka picks it up, shoots too tall. Gators have 18 seconds on the shot clock. Kavanaugh into a high traffic area, too tall. Aldave back in the middle. Kavanaugh got decked.
Yeah, Dukes took her down. Again, Aldave doing a great job of finding an open teammate there. Kavanaugh got her right in the chest.
Shannon Kavanaugh, sophomore from Smithtown, New York. Free position from straight on. Just wide right. Misses that post by just inches. And the shot clock expires. So the Cincinnati defense holds strong. But given that they're down by 7 with 12.5 minutes to go,
the clock is certainly Cincinnati's enemy at this point.
Yeah, the Bearcats are getting toward the point in the game now where they're playing against both Florida and the clock. Amanda Donovan, one of the seniors on this Cincinnati team. Best year in program history and something the Bearcats are quite proud of. They'd like not to end on a losing note here in the conference tournament. They need some late magic. Alyssa Adams back to her right. Kate Carney pulled it out. This is where Cincinnati's starting to struggle. Some of their passes into the middle. That's a foul on Cincinnati, and the Bearcat fans can't believe it.
Kara Trombetta, number 16 for Florida, once again. Very sound defensively, doing a great job on Adams.
You know, the Gators at this point of the game starting to impose their will a little bit. Obviously, on the offensive end, they haven't had a massive barrage of goals, but they've had long, draining possessions. And on defense, Florida has prevented Cincinnati from having good looks right in the crease in front of the goal. A little mental mistake there, looking away from the ball. Inside 11 minutes. Florida leads by 7. Ronbeck's had an incredible day. 6 goals on 11 shots. Ronbeck commits the foul. Here comes Adriana Fess. Adriana was the one of the 3 sisters that made the all-conference group this year. Second team all-league. 10 minutes to go. The Bearcats don't have the same level of tenacity right now and pace offensively.
Not the same.
They've slowed down quite a bit. It's not a lack of trying, but you can tell some of it's frustration that passes they want to make aren't open.
Great preparation by the Gators in this match. Outstanding conditioning. And the defense for Florida has been very good. Caitlin Dabkowski, number 33, has been very, very good for Florida today, along with others we've mentioned.
Sains takes a shot just wide right. Shot clock inside of 10 seconds. It's at 6 now. Got to try to make something happen, and it doesn't work out. Florida defense really tightening up here in the second half.
Caroline May, number 22 for the Gators. Great job of defending backside for Florida.
The only Cincinnati goal in the second half came when Morgan Dukes won a free position. And in that play, Dukes passed over quickly to Milkby, who relayed it to Noss right in front of the cage. That came with 25:15 on the clock. It's been 17 minutes since Cincinnati has scored. And while the Bearcats have defended better this half, they haven't been good enough.
They have not been fearless enough. They have not been aggressive, I don't think, in the second half. And again, part of it is they're exhausted physically, and you can tell.
Yellow card there on Jade Sains.
Give the Gators a lot of credit defensively. They did a tremendous job shutting them down here in the second half.
Senior transfer from LIU Brooklyn.
To Cincinnati's credit, Durso has played very well in goal.
Only 8:22 remaining as Kavanaugh gets ready. Flags out, but Gators still have it. Kavanaugh the second time won't be denied. The Florida Gators add another 14-6.
Great effort. As you said, they would not be denied. They came back right after. They didn't give up. And Kavanaugh drills one home for another big Gator goal. Number 14, Pareka, nice pass inside, left-handed shot, far post, 14.
So Cincinnati now trails at home by 8 with 8 minutes to go. Florida has gutted one out here in the second half, outscoring Cincinnati 6-1. It's the 61st goal this season for Shannon Kavanaugh. Pareka credited with her 22nd assist. As Gina Thomas is trying to preach to her team about offense, and I would think getting the ball back here. They've played so much defense this half.
Wow.
I think that's what's frustrated them more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. All things considered, Cincinnati down 14-6 has had a pretty good showing here in this championship. And I know that Coach O'Leary wants her team continuously to put their foot on the gas and not slow down. And got to start with Shannon Kavanaugh in this draw control situation. She's dominated the match for the most part, done a very nice job leading the Gators in this one.
Let's go down to the sideline, Rich Heide.
Hey, Brendan and Mike, I think the story today continues to be the barrage of shots that Florida puts up. They average 33 shots per game on the season. So far in this one, 34, and then the free position chances, 11 free position opportunities. They've converted on 3 of them. Just 1 free position attempt and a goal for Cincinnati on the other side. So just putting that pressure on the Cincinnati defense, bending, and finally maybe breaking, guys.
Well, unfortunately for the Bearcats, Rich, they're going to be without a player here now for the next still minute and 40 seconds, because that was Cincinnati's 4th yellow card, which automatically makes it a non-releasable 2-minute penalty. So Sains will sit on that far side until there are 6 minutes and 22 seconds. And there's currently 8:10 on the clock. So Florida has a man up here for quite a while. There you see Jade Sains. This is not quite worst case scenario for Cincinnati, but it's close. Absolutely have to win the draw control, and they do. So the Bearcats, at least in some part, can kill off some of this time, but again, you've got to score, not just kill the penalty out. Looking for a short-handed goal.
And it's a very tall hill to climb, if you will. But it can be done.
Last Bearcat goal came 18 minutes ago, game time. Feels like an hour ago, real life. Got a lot of whistles here in the second half, my goodness.
It's been
60 to shoot.
It's been a great matchup for Florida today. May 22 on Adams. She's tracked her all over the place.
And Trombetta has really shut down Borzillo.
Yep.
Florida's one-on-one defense, pretty impressive. If the Bearcats hang on to this all the way through the end of the shot clock, they'll basically kill off the penalty. It's not exact, but within a couple seconds of each other. But obviously the priority has to be taking a good shot. Donovan got hit up top there. Gina Thomas yelling to her offense, trying to bark out whatever play they want to run. Bearcats lucky to keep it there. 10 to shoot. Geisen in trouble. And Milkvey doesn't really get a good shot there in general, just kind of flings it across the middle. And the shot clock expires. Cincinnati will be back at full strength in 2 seconds here. And here we go.
Yep.
Alexandra Fess, Adriana Fess, Morgan Dukes, and Jade Sains have all gotten yellow cards. Caroline Benitez received a green card for Florida. That's the only violation they've had. Bearcats 25 fouls, 17 for Florida. Gators have only turned it over 4 times in this second half, which is impressive considering how much they've had the ball. Ronbeck turns it over there. Nope. Empty stick check.
Florida has been in complete control for most of this match in the second half.
Play stops for just a second here. Another goal for the Florida Gators.
Seems like Kavanaugh always around the goal. Always putting her stick right in there. 15 for Florida.
Boy, great finish by Kavanaugh. So much traffic. She puts one in. Let's check in with Rich.
Hey, Brendan and Mike. This second half has been all about Florida, but you can't emphasize enough just the turnaround for Gina Thomas this season in this Bearcat program. First season in the American, finished 1-8 in the Big East last season, 8-9 overall last year, but the building blocks certainly there. Monica Borzillo, top 5 in the country in terms of points. Kylie Noss, the freshman of the year in the AAC. This program has such a bright future despite this second half. A little bit disappointing for the coach.
Yeah, Bearcats on the rise, no doubt about it. But right now I think they're seeing what they need to, where they need to get, because this Florida team they're the measuring stick right now in this league. And I realize it's silly to say that because it's only 1 year old in terms of competition in this league. But with what Florida has accomplished, sometimes, Mike, it takes you a while to build a program, maybe a few years to get the right kind of talent. Not Florida. They've won 9 straight regular season, and they're on their way to their 6th straight tournament title.
It doesn't happen overnight, and it happens with a lot of hard work. And the thing that impresses me today, as well as it did in the semifinals for Florida, everybody participated. When you have everyone scoring and defending at both ends of the field, then you know you're really good. There's not a weak link in the chain, if you will. It's a very strong unit that Coach O'Leary has in her squad today.
Duke's trying to clear it on that right side. Well done all the way up the field until the very end. Dukes takes a shot, she scores! Morgan Dukes with her first career goal. How about that? The smile tells it all.
Nice job by this youngster, the sophomore out of Maryland, and in the defeat against the Gators the first go-round, she had no shots whatsoever. Great job on the far post.
If you don't have fun watching her play, you're not paying attention. Love the joy and energy that she plays with. Obviously, her defense is what she's known for, but a fun moment that she'll never forget, despite the fact that it only brings it to 15-7. A fun moment for the Bearcats.
Again, I mentioned several times how important it is to finish and what it means to this program to finish strong. And that is a really nice sign for Coach Thomas that she looks on from the sideline. She'll have plenty of help coming forward next year. I've been told she's done a pretty good job recruiting. She's got better players coming in. The Bearcats will be a force to continue in the American Conference.
Boy, Kavanaugh single-handedly took that draw and gave to Ronbeck near side. Florida Gators team gave up the first goal of the game about 2 minutes in and then scored 5 in a row. And even when Cincinnati's put together a good fight, Florida's just never given them real legitimate hope. Florida is at times had trouble pulling away, and that's to Cincinnati's credit. But the Gators have pretty much controlled this game wire to wire.
And to the Gators' credit, they've won the draw controls most of the time during this game. And the other thing is they've been fearless. They have gone to the net hard.
Sydney Parecka. Just a little off target. After her 11 points in the semifinal, Parecka's been held a little quieter. 1 goal, 2 assists, 9 total shots. Ronbeck leads all scorers with 6 on 11 shots. 4 goals, 3 assists for Kavanaugh. She shot 10 times. Ronbeck and Kavanaugh combined have outshot the Bearcats. Approaching the 3-minute mark here in the second half. Florida Gators looking for yet another NCAA tournament appearance. Durso pounces on it, and it's going the other way.
Good opportunity inside off the pass to Jillian Alonso, number 26, the senior attacker, 5'4".
Now, it's been a fun first year in the American for women's lacrosse. We have a quick second. Probably appropriate to thank our gracious hosts here at the University of Cincinnati for putting on the tournament this weekend. At the beginning of the year, they didn't know if they would even be in the tournament. And the Bearcats themselves had a great season, but the predetermined host, and it's been really a nice weekend. Sheakley Athletic Center has really been a great venue. Pat Colbert's done a great job from the American, Megan Herbs as well. Really appreciate all of their effort. All the folks at the conference office who made the trip here to Cincinnati.
No question about it. Makes our job that much easier. Got to give the Bearcats a lot of credit for hanging in here, looking for another one.
Clock stops at 1:30. Florida Gators getting ready to celebrate. Florida won the 2012 and 2014 ALC Conference Tournament Championship. And they had won the Big East Conference Tournament Championship each of the last 4 years in a row. Cincinnati adds a late goal. This one for Milkby, her second of the day.
Great to see that because she's really worked very hard out there for Coach Thomas.
Good shot from Milkby just inside the far post there. In just their 10th season as a program, Florida's had 65 All-American honors for 19 different athletes. And of course, they've had 5 Tewaaraton finalists. And 2012, their best overall season when they made the Final Four, their only year doing that. Who knows if the Gators are bound for that kind of success in the postseason this year. But they are certainly going to have their chance on the national stage. There won't be any drama for them tomorrow evening during the selection show. They'll watch and more, find out where they're going. Shot wide from Kylie Noss. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati seniors, Maria Colaci, Amanda Donovan, Jade Sains, and Juliana Durso. Potentially the last game that they'll play. The Bearcats will have to hope for an at-large berth into the national tournament. And at 12-7, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they wouldn't get in. Got a chance. Another goal, Monica Borzillo. Her first of the game. It was a quiet afternoon for her, but that one certainly feels good.
That feels great for Borzillo and, of course, for her teammates, the Cincinnati Bearcats. It's a good feeling to be able to host this American Athletics Championship, though it looks like they're going to lose this one, but they're finishing strong. She goes to the near net for the goal.
61st goal this year for Monica Borzillo. So the Bearcats trying to delay the celebration a little bit. 15-9. Need credit several of the Cincinnati fans that have stuck around through the rain here to the end of the game. Dukes up the far side after her highlight of scoring earlier. She certainly thought about finding a way to shoot again. Foul brings it back to the other side. Now Florida's sideline having some fun. They are ready to erupt.
You bet. They're dancing and having a great time.
On their way to their 9th NCAA tournament in a row. It's party time in Gainesville. The Florida Gators, the first ever champions in the American.
Today's championship final, Florida 15, Cincinnati 9. Again, please stick around. We will have our championship ceremony and the announcement of our alternate team.
6th consecutive conference tournament championship for Florida. And the hardware handed to Sydney Pareca, whose incredible semifinal performance was a catalyst to get Florida to this stage. But the MVP of this game, Lindsey Ronbeck, 6 goals. She scored 15 times in 2 games against the Bearcats in an 8-day stretch. What a run by Ronbeck.
Ronbeck had the most remarkable goal in the second half. To her credit.
Congratulations to Florida. Let's go down with head coach Mandy O'Leary standing by. Rich Heide.
Mandy O'Leary and the Florida Gators, the inaugural American Athletic Conference champions. Congratulations. What does this mean to you personally and for the program?
Oh, I mean, it's exciting. Obviously, when you win the inaugural conference championship, it's incredible. All the credit goes to these young women behind me. They worked so hard throughout this season. So proud of their effort. Everybody, it was a total team effort. And that was a great Cincinnati team, but I think the Florida Gators showed up today.
What was your message in the second half? You really stymied the Cincinnati offense in the second half, scored 7 goals yourself. What was your message at the break?
You know, I think we just had to calm down a little bit. We gave up some early goals, but then I thought our defense locked down. I mean, they just played just fantastic. So proud of them, and our offense just started to put the ball in the back of the net. So overall, really great. Like to thank the American Athletic Conference and the University of Cincinnati Athletic Department. They put on a first-rate program here today, and it was a fantastic inaugural conference championship. They did a great job, so thanks to them.
Selection show this Sunday. What do you need to do to take that next step and truly reach your goals in the NCAAs?
You know, I think we're, wherever we go, it's going to be, another game for us. We'll prepare, and we're just glad we're going.
Coach Mandy O'Leary, thanks so much. Congratulations to you and to Florida as well. Thanks.
Always fun to see the kids put on those championship hats. You got to earn those. There's a lot of smiles down on the field at this point. Obviously, for as joyful as today is for Florida, it's a little frustrating and maybe a little bittersweet for Cincinnati. The Bearcats obviously would have liked to come out on top, but I think you have to maybe keep it in perspective. Cincinnati had an incredible year. This is the best year they've ever had as a program, and this should be a good leaping off point for them.
Yeah, Coach Thomas talked to us before the tournament about the fact that she saw this as an opportunity to springboard her program forward. And boy, has she ever done that. I thought they played exceptionally well against Temple. And for the most part, with the talent that they had on the field today, they held Florida in check in certain areas of the match. And credit to Durso, she played really well in goal. Probably enough to win in a lot of other games. But tonight, Florida was just too good.
Ronbeck, 6 goals on 11 shots. Shannon Kavanaugh, 4 goals on 3 assists and 10 total shots. Haas and Harris, a couple goals apiece. Pareca scored this afternoon as well. So congratulations to the Florida Gators. A 15-9 victory. They are champions again, but this time the first ever champion in the American. For Rich Heide and for Mike Walensky, and on behalf of our entire L2 Productions crew, I'm Brendan Gulick. The Florida Gators, couple of wins here in the Queen City, and they're bringing hardware back to Gainesville. They'll be on their way to the NCAA tournament for the 6th year in a row. Congratulations, Florida, champions in the American.
Ref mic testing. Ref mic testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Hold on. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Hey, I'm testing one of the mics on camera 2. I'm on the play-by-play, channel 1. Play-by-play?
No, there's another girl who goes to social media, but that's
Okay. Okay. I'll check that. Let me run upstairs. The press button.
Like, for our front office, we have, I don't know what.
Alright, we'll do. Check, check, check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, well, San Diego wins and gets.
Check, check, check.
You guys hear me? 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check.
They have 46 points, we have 45 points, so if we get the 5 points, and they get 4 points.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coming to you live from New Orleans. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sibilance. Sibilance. Stand by. Yes, copy that. Stand by. Not yet. It's still tangled. Hold on. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 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 check. It's very low. Can you guys hear me on headset 2? All right, thank you. Headset's off. Just lost it again.
Hey, go back to the other headset.
Okay. No worries. Headset 1, headset 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cesario Garcia coming to you live from, hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The head coach and general manager sitting there.
Excellent. Okay. Going off heads.
They'll probably go back.
Alright, I'm almost at the camera.
Along where they walk out. Yeah. Yeah, the head coach, general manager, they tend to all just sit here in the middle. They'll walk down there.
Yeah, he's also not on Unity. So you said input 1 or 2 on my camera? So both of my camera settings are matching in terms of input 1s and 2s. The mic comes through on 2 on mine. That's what we were doing in Toronto. No. Oh no, I'm just saying I know it comes in on 2 because that's what we did in Toronto. That's what this camera is set up to, I think.
Testing. 1, 2. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. How is the weather in Austin today? Hopefully it doesn't rain on us again. Oh, sweet, dude. Hell yeah. Are you guys in a hotel room doing this? Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Do you want me to test it with Yeah, she's right next to me.
I'm not logged on. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Testing.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I can show you a setup of it right now. Hold on. I'm up in this box. I mean, if you're cool with them having their headsets on, I could. Let me see if I can turn on this other light. Hold on. Oh, that was on. Yeah, it's pretty dark in there. I'll probably start blowing out windows if I go any brighter. Copy that. I'm just up here. I'm making sure my lights are muted on the correct setups. I'll be. So you freelance or just full-time gig?
No, freelance, but love video.
Do you ever go to Fox Sports ever?
Yeah, I worked at Fox Sports Southwest, and then I worked at sports TV shows on Spectrum.
Hey, come along, bro. Good. You seen Ben?
like coming back, just rebounding after their 25-24 loss against Seattle. The expectations that they'll win this game. Just kind of a playoff push. Really, like this kind of just helps determine more of that because it's just crowded at the top right now. No one's like really. There's no like guys like the lineup's pretty much the same across the board. A couple guys are banged up. Scott Gale, our fly half, isn't playing. Like separated his AC joint against Seattle, so he's out. He's resting.